The following podcast is by Mr. Jim Koewler, elder law and special needs attorney, helping and protecting those who need long-term care. And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders. And we are here with Jim Koewler, who is what is called an elder law attorney. And so many, you may have heard of the term, you may have understood it a little bit, but number one, I will guarantee you that the vast majority of our listeners do not really know what an elder law attorney does. Or second of all, really, why does it really pertain to them? And so, Jim, you are a practicing elder law attorney in the state of Ohio, and I have been so blessed to know you for, boy, since we first started Answers for Elders 12 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
The good fortune has been mine.
But we are really excited to have you as back on in our team and being a specialist in a topic that I think is critical for everyone in the country. So even though obviously you practice in Ohio, there's some universal terms and scenarios where it's important to have an elder law attorney. And so that's why I really want to take the time. So Jim, welcome back to the show. And I'm interested in, let's just start out really. What is an elder law attorney? What do they do?
Well, it can be really as easy as it sounds. An elder law attorney is someone who works with old people. Mm-hmm. Not exclusively, but most of my clientele are older adults. Mm-hmm. Because I focus my work on long-term care, and that tends to affect people who are older because it's age-related illnesses. Not always. I've had a 52-year-old, and you can have someone who's really young that's maybe an accident victim.
Sure.
And then there's also special needs law, where you're helping people have disabilities. And I've helped someone as young as 26 and as young as a couple of people that were still teenagers. So those two kind of go hand in hand. Okay. But there's elder law, which is as narrow as it sounds, maybe broader than you really want to look for. You may want to be very specific. So there's elder law. There's an elder law friend of mine who actually only handles personal injury claims in nursing home accidents. Well, she calls herself an elder law attorney, but she's not going to do a Medicaid case. No. She's not going to help you figure out how to pay for long-term care, and she's not going to do your will.
Some do veterans benefits, some do not.
Exactly. Exactly. And then there's a lot of people who want to write your will and powers of attorney in a trust and things like that, who call themselves elder law attorneys.
But that's estate planning.
But don't really know their way around a Medicaid application or a VA benefits application for the VA pension, but most people aid in attendance. So yes, I suppose they're elder law attorneys and they can join the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, NAELA, but I don't send people there to deal with long-term care.
No. So obviously, what I'm hearing you say is the people that you work with primarily are those that are navigating later life care, such as trying to figure out how am I going to be provided for the rest of my life if I run out of money, or how am I going to make sure that my assets are going to spend down to a certain point that I can be converted to Medicare or Medicaid. Or the other thing, obviously, if a spouse has, like, say, for example, dad gets Alzheimer's and has to have a special degree of care, how do we protect mom in the process and keep the home? Those are things you do, correct?
Yep. That's how I earn my money, by helping people not lose all of their money to the cost of long-term care.
Right. And those things are all critical because, as we know, absolutely, the cost of long-term care is astronomical. I think here in Washington State, average price for a memory care facility is like around $9,000 a month. I don't know what it is in Ohio, but it's very, very expensive, and it will.
Yeah, that's about the same here in Ohio.
Okay, so it's about the same.
And a nursing home can be 7 or 8. And assisted living without memory care can easily be 6 or 7.
Sure.
But there's a place here that's $13,000 a month, and they have a waiting list.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that to understand that piece. And the other side of it, which I think is so important, is that there's a lot of ways in which, people are afraid that if I go to an attorney, it's going to cost me a lot of money. But in the meantime, if you don't protect yourself legally, you could lose your house. Mom could be on the street because of the overall, scenario with dad, without the night.
Mom's not going to be on the street. Let's
Okay,
not
I
go
will
that
stay.
far. Okay,
Yeah.
mom's not going to be on the street, but the house may not pass to the next generation.
Correct. And those are things that we have to look at for all different types of things. So people like you can help a family keep your assets, protect the assets, and still help dad
Some
get
of them.
care.
Some of them.
Yes, exactly.
Wait till you
Obviously,
need long-term care. I'm not protecting everything. If you've got a spouse, I can protect an awful lot. But if you've got a single person, we're generally area of 40% we can save, which is way better than zero.
Yes, way better.
Yeah.
So obviously, you are, helping families. How do elder law attorneys handle long-term care overall?
Okay, the way elder law attorneys can handle long-term care. Now we're talking about the cost of long-term care here. Okay, there's other things we can do, and I don't know if we're going to get into that today, but there are other things elder law attorneys can do. But the bread and butter long-term care attorney usually helps someone get Medicaid benefits and or VA pension benefits, what most people call aid and attendance benefits that pay for long-term care. That means someone is helping you bathe, dress, or you're needing to live in a place where you're not going to wander off because you have dementia and you're not sure where you are. So you're a wander risk or elopement risk, they call it.
Right.
And we can help people get Medicaid, usually without losing all of their money, the 40% thing I mentioned. And there are some exceptions to that where we can save a lot more. But if we start out with very little, there's not enough there to work with sometimes. But you may say an elder law attorney is expensive. A lot of people have that reaction. I have some people cringe at my fees, I hate to say, but I'm worth every penny and perhaps more.
Yes, you are.
But an elder law attorney gets paid out of money that's either going to go to the elder law attorney or going to go to the nursing home or other caregiver. Okay, you're not going to keep money in the family by not hiring an elder law attorney.
Right.
An elder law attorney can help you get on Medicaid or VA benefits faster than you would otherwise, and saving some of that money that would otherwise go to the cost of care. Medicaid wants you to spend all of your money on your care first before you ask Medicaid for help.
Right.
But and the VA as well. But there are ways around that are allowed. I'm not breaking the law anywhere.
No.
Okay. I heard of a colleague once say that he was in the law enforcement business. He was making sure Social Security, because he was doing special needs, making sure Social Security followed its own laws. Well, I do the same to Medicaid. I make sure that Medicaid follows its own laws.
Or like what a CPA does to help you get a tax break.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Exactly.
It's the same kind of scenario. And obviously, I don't know if you use the same term in Ohio, but in Washington State, we call it a spend down. But there's also mechanisms that attorneys use, like a trust, that they can put a special needs trust together for dad for his care. I think, isn't that how it works?
Yes.
That protects the assets of mom to be able to live, but it also puts us dad in a situation. So now there can be a spend down that dad will qualify. Is that kind of how that works? I'm trying to remember.
Very generally, yes. A spend down is taking you from where you are financially, either as a single person or as a couple, and doing something with the money to get you down that you are poor enough, and I hate to use those terms, but really what it is, poor enough to get Medicaid benefits or VA pension benefits.
Okay.
It's that, but what happens with that spend down? Where does that money go? That's what elder law attorneys can affect.
Yeah, big time. Because
let's be clear on one thing about a trust. A trust is much more useful if you are planning ahead than if you are trying to do something right now and need care already.
Sure. And obviously, if somebody's like initially diagnosed with Alzheimer's, that's the time to come see you before these assets are taken away. Is that, I mean, I'm assuming that's the time you want to show up.
That is the early point of what we call a crisis case.
Oh, okay. So even earlier than that should be
Earlier than that, if you're simply worried about it. And we'll talk about pre-planning in future segments.
Okay.
But it's, if you are losing sleep worrying about long-term care in your future, and that's probably because you've been through it with somebody else in your family, then it's time to at least think about an elder law attorney and think about long-term care insurance.
Great.
Because you don't want to lose sleep over it. There are things that can be done. You just have to decide whether it's worth it to you.
Right.
But if someone is on the road to long-term care, early diagnosis of some sort of dementia, for example, or the beginnings of Parkinson, which I suppose is a kind of dementia, now that I throw that in there, that the earlier we start, the better. The earlier we start, the more things we can do.
Right.
And
to protect.
waiting until you need a nursing home.
Got it.
It's not bad. You just missed opportunities to do more. Yeah.
So Jim, how do we reach you?
If you're in Ohio, you can reach me through jkoehler-afe. I hope I remembered that right, at protectingseniors.com. Yes, I do have very particular emails that allows me to track how people found me and see what marketing works. Or you can call me at 330-659-3579.
And you can also catch Jim on Answers for Elders, and he has his own specialist page. And Jim, let's spell your last name just for everyone, because that's a unique spelling there.
What? It's easy. It's just like it sounds. Koewler.
So
it's pronounced Koehler. It looks like Koewler back in the old country, but as we know, Americans don't do the old country language, any of them, very well.
No. So, and everyone, we're really excited to have Jim, and he will be right back with a second segment, and we're going to be talking a little bit about advanced directives. This is a huge situation where family caregivers, if you're taking care of a loved one, this topic is absolutely for you. State of Ohio residents, you have a friend to help you navigate long-term care while protecting your assets. You can reach Jim at www.protectingseniors.com or just email him at jkoehler-afe, that's jkoehler-afe at protectingseniors.com.